Hello and welcome. In a previous video, we looked at using conditional formatting and formulas to identify duplicates in our data. You do not need that video to be able to follow along with this one. I just want to point out that the approach used, though quite simple, it's partly dependent on sorting the data, meaning we may get the wrong records as duplicates if we do not sort the data in a particular way. In this video, we will look at how to identify the duplicates in our data without sorting. If you are interested in following along using the workbook or the data I will be using, please check the link in the video description below. The data we are using contains records of different product valuations by different companies at different times. The first thing to do is to define what constitutes a unique record. In our case, a record is a duplicate of another if their valuation dates are the same and their product codes are also the same. Thus, no two records should have the same valuation date and product code. This is a rule we will use to find duplicates in our data. If you are following this video with your own data and you do not already have a field that identifies a unique record, try and create one based on the columns in your data. To make this easy for us, we will insert a new column and call it UID, which will contain the unique identifier for each record. We will construct a unique identifier by concatenating the valuation date and product code, the two columns we are using to define a unique record. In cell F2, we type A2 ampersand, which is an operator for concatenating strings, then cell B2, and double-click the fill handler to copy the formula down the rows. We now have a unique identifier for each record in our data. Realize that Excel internally stores dates as numbers, and that is why we see numbers in our UID column. If there are duplicates in the UID column, then we can find a UID which appears more than once. That is, when we count the individual UIDs in the column range, there will be some with count greater than 1. Now, insert a new column. I will call the new column is duplicate. In cell G2, type equals COUNTIF. We need the range to search for duplicates, so click in cell F2. And with Shift and Control keys held down, press the down arrow key to select the contiguous range. The address of the selected range is relative, but we want an absolute cell reference, so press the functional key F4 on the keyboard to make the range fixed. And for the criteria, click F2. That is, look through the range and count the number of times the value in F2, which is the first UID, appears. I will just populate the formula down the rows by double-clicking the fill handler. A value of 1 means no duplicate, and a value greater than 1 means duplicates exist. Let us put a filter on its duplicate column and filter for all the duplicated records, that is, those greater than 1. There are 44 of them. And of course, sorting the UID column can help us see the duplicates next to each other. We see that some records show up twice in the data and others appear 3 times. However, we cannot distinguish between the first, second, and third instances of a record. They are all given the same count value. Hence, deleting them this way will remove both the record and its duplicates. When a record has a duplicate, we usually want to delete the duplicate and not both. What we have filtered for is both the record and its duplicate. I will just press Ctrl Z couple of times to undo the filter. We can now modify our formula slightly to flag only the duplicates of a record. Go to cell G2 and change the end of the range to F2. So, we have the beginning as F2 and the ending cell also as F2. The difference is that the beginning cell is absolute and the ending cell is relative. The trick is that if a record appears, say, 3 times, the first instance will be given a count value of 1, the second a value of 2, and the third instance a value of 3. We achieve this behavior by not fixing the search range but gradually widening it as we move down the cells. Look at rows 21 and 22, which we know to be duplicates. The first instance is given a value of 1, while the second is given a value of 2. That is, the record set in row 22 is a duplicate of row 21. We will sort the UID column so the duplicate can appear next to each other. If we scroll down to see row 120, we see 3 duplicated records with their instances rightly ordered from 1 to 3. Let us filter for all the duplicates. There are 24 duplicates. Unlike the first approach, deleting the filtered records will only affect the duplicates. Undo couple of times and let us try one last trick. Try turning the formula used in the isDuplicate column into a Boolean if you think the numbers are a bit confusing for you. We test if the count is greater than 1. A true value means the record is a duplicate, otherwise the formula returns false. When we filter for the duplicate, we can see just as before that there are 24 duplicates. In this video, we have looked at ways to find duplicate records in our data using formulas without sorting the data first. Thanks for watching.